Okay, so now we're going to read the whole page of the whole chapter of Pinocchio, chapter 25. So in this chapter, Pinocchio understands that he has to fight Sloth. Sloth is another word for laziness. Sloth is also an animal, by the way. Um, it's the same word, which has two different meanings. One literary meaning is laziness, and another meaning of this word is it's an animal that lives in the trees. It looks a little bit like a small bear, and it moves very slowly, very, very slowly. And it's called a sloth as well. So Pinocchio promises the fairy to be good. Pinocchio promises the fairy to learn and to choose and follow an art or a trade. And Pinocchio understands that if he wants to grow and to stop being a puppet and become a real boy, he has to fight Sloth. At first, the good little woman maintains that she is not the little fairy with blue hair, but seeing that she is found out and not wishing to continue the comedy any longer, she ends by making herself known, and she says to Pinocchio, "You little rogue, how did you ever discover who I was? It was my great affection for you that told me. Do you remember you left me a child, and now that you have found me again, I am a woman almost old enough to be your mamma. I'm delighted at that, for now instead of calling you little sister, I will call you mamma. I have wished for such a long time to have a mamma like other boys. But how did you manage to grow so fast? That is a secret. Teach it to me, for I should also like to grow. Don't you see, I always remain no bigger than a ninepin." So, words from this page. To maintain, זה לטעון. Rogue, זה נבל, מנוול. Affection, זה חיבה, אהבה. To delight, זה להיות שמח, לשמוח. To grow, זה לגדול. ninepin, זה יתד במשחק כדורת. To discover, זה לגלות. To find out, זה להתאפס, לגלות. bigger זה גדול מ. To manage זה להצליח. To grow זה לגדול. A secret זה סוד, רז. To remain זה להישאר. To teach זה ללמד. To wish זה לאחל. A comedy זה קומדיה. fast זה מהר, מהיר. 9 pin זה 9 יתדות. במשחק כדורת מעמידים 9 יתדות עץ שיש להפילן בכדור המתגלגל אליהן. אז פה פינוקיו אומר, I always remain no bigger than a 9 pin. Yeah? אני לא גדול מיתד במשחק כדורת. אז פינוקיו, let's not forget that he is a puppet. Yeah? הוא בובה. But you cannot grow, replies the fairy. Why? Because puppets never grow. They are born puppets, live puppets, and die puppets. Oh, I am sick of being a puppet, cries Pinocchio, giving himself a slap. It is time that I became a man, and you will become one if you know how to deserve it. Not really. What can I do to deserve it? A very easy thing, by learning to be a good boy. And you think I'm not? You're quite the contrary. Good boys are obedient, and I never obey. Okay, so let's see the words from this page. To grow, עוד פעם, לגדול. To reply זה לענות. Puppet זה בובה. To be born זה נולד. To bear זה להיוולד. To be sick of זה להימאס, נמאס. A slap זה סתירה. Obedient זה צייתני, צייתן. To become זה להפוך ל. To deserve זה להיות ראוי ל. To learn זה ללמוד. Learning זה למידה. To think זה לחשוב. Quiet זה די, ממש. Contrary זה הפך, ניגוד. To obey זה לציית. Good boys like to learn and to work, and I instead lead an idle, vagabond life the year through. Good boys always speak the truth, and I always tell lies. Good boys go willingly to school, and school gives me pain all over the body. But from today, I will change my life. Do you promise me? I promise you, I will become a good little boy, and I will be the consolation of my papa. Where is my poor papa at this moment? I do not know. Shall I ever have the happiness of seeing him again and kissing him? I think so. Indeed, I am sure of it. Okay, so words from this page. So instead, זה במקום זאת, לחלופין. To lead זה להוביל. She says, Pinocchio says, I lead an idle and vagabond life. זאת אומרת שאני חי חיים של בטלן ונווד. The year through זה כל השנה. Truth זה אמת. Willingly זה ברצון. Pain זה כאב. To promise זה להבטיח. Consolation זה נחמה. Poor זה עני, מסכן. Ever זה אי פעם. Happiness זה אושר. Indeed זה באמת. אכן. To be sure of זה להיות בטוח. Sure זה בטוח. At this answer, Pinocchio is so delighted that he takes the fairy's hands and begins to kiss them with such fervor that he seems beside himself. Then, raising his face and looking at her lovingly, he asks, Tell me, little mamma, then it was not true that you were dead? It seems not, says the fairy, smiling. If you only knew the sorrow I felt and the tightening of my throat when I read, Here lies. I know it, and it is on that account that I have forgiven you. I saw from the sincerity of your grief that you had a good heart. And when boys have good hearts, even if they are scamps and have got bad habits, there is always something to hope for. That is, there is always hope that they will turn to better ways. That is why I came to look for you here. I will be your mamma. Oh, how delightful, shouts Pinocchio, jumping for joy. You must obey me and do everything that I bid you. Willingly, willingly, willingly. Tomorrow, rejoins the fairy, you will begin to go to school. Pinocchio becomes at once a little less joyful. To delight, זה לשמח. Fervor, זה התלהבות. Beside himself, זה יצא מגדרו. The sorrow, זה צער. Tightening, זה התכווצות, מחנק. Throat, זה גרון. On that account, בגלל זה, על חשבון זה. Sincerity, זה כנות. Grief, זה צער, יגון, אבל. Scamp, זה נבזה, שופל, מנוול. So rogue and scamps, there are synonyms. Habit, זה הרגל. Delightful, זה נפלא. To bid, זה לצוות. To rejoin, זה להמשיך. Okay, so here she says, tomorrow rejoins the fairy. זה אומר, מחר ממשיכה אפייה. You will begin to go to school. זאת אומרת, היא ממשיכה לדבר. Then you must choose an art or a trade, according to your wishes. Pinocchio becomes very grave. What are you muttering between your teeth? Asks the fairy in an angry voice. I was saying, moans the puppet in a low voice, that it seemed to me too late for me to go to school now. No, sir, keep it in mind that it is never too late to learn and to instruct ourselves. But I do not wish to follow either an art or a trade. Why? Because it tires me to work. My boy, says the fairy, those who talk in that way end almost always either in prison or in the hospital. Let me tell you that every man, whether he is born rich or poor, is obliged to do something in this world, to occupy himself, to work. Woe to those who lead slothful lives. Sloth is a dreadful illness and must be cured at once, in childhood. If not, when we're old, it can never be cured. An art, אומנות, a trade, זה משלח יד, מסחר. wish, זה רצון. grave, פה זה אומר רציני, אוקיי? grave זה גם קבר, אבל זה גם רצינות. זאת אומרת, Pinocchio becomes very grave, זה אומר שהוא נהיה רציני. To mutter זה למלמל. To moan זה לגנוח. To learn זה ללמוד. To instruct זה להדריך, להכשיר. To follow זה לעקוב אחרי. To tire זה לעייף. woe זה אוי ואבוי. slothful זה עצלן. sloth זה עצלות, עצלנות, עצלה. To cure זה לרפא. Pinocchio is touched by these words, and lifting his head quickly, he says to the fairy, I will study, I will work, I will do all that you tell me, for indeed I have become weary of being a puppet, and I wish at any price to become a boy. You promised me that I should, did you not? I did not promise you. I did promise you, and it now depends upon yourself. To touch זה לנגוע. To lift זה להרים. Indeed זה באמת. Weary זה עייף. At any price, בכל מחיר. To become זה להפוך ל. To promise זה להבטיח. To depend upon זה להיות תלוי ב. Okay, so this is a very educative chapter about work, about not being lazy, and about the necessity to work. So this is the end of chapter 25, and if you are watching this video, please subscribe, and it will mean for me that you're interested in learning, and I will bring more materials that will help you to learn the English language. And let me tell you that I believe in you and your ability to learn, your ability to use a dictionary, and I believe in your ability to get through the grammar that is necessary in order to read, to speak, and to write the English language. So see you in the next episode of Anglit, ללמוד ולהבין.